I've always dreamed about Power Rangers and Super Sentai doing a crossover movie. Probably everyone in the world thought this one when you first heard about Power Rangers coming from a Japanese show. But actually doing it would be a huge undertaking. Everyone wants to see their counterparts reacting to each other, but it can't just be about that. It has to have a good story to go with it. For several weeks, I've been coming up with ideas and a direction on what a movie could be like. I had to figure out who should be in it. I want the characters picked to make sense. They have to fit into the story, but I also have to be careful with how their stories ended. Would it conflict if I bring them back? Another thing, doing same suit Rangers, having everyone interact with their counterparts would make it way too hard to follow. So I decided to limit this to one character. I want both teams to have 6 Rangers representing different eras of their respective shows, and to try to include Rangers that haven't been featured in a long time. The next hurdle would be, how do the Rangers communicate? The two series obviously speak different languages, so there has to be an in-show explanation. This is where my first Ranger picks come from. Trip and Circuit. He would be our PR follow character. He's from the future, which they used to develop the other dimensional stories with. Smart, and help with Circuit could develop a translation system. For Ranger 2, we need someone experienced with advanced technology and dealing with people from other places. So I picked Andros. He's gathered past Rangers before, deals with all kinds of aliens around the galaxy, and has resources that could be useful. For Ranger 3, I wanted someone who could be the comedic relief, but also still bring some useful abilities. So I landed on Chip. He has his quick wit in bad situations, and he can think outside the box. Plus, his magic powers could be used to temporarily restore lost swords or gear for other Rangers. Ranger 4, I went with Chase. I needed someone from the recent seasons. He's one of the best shooters they have, and would work great alongside Andros. Plus, he'd be familiar with using the dimensional tech. For Ranger 5, I wanted someone that people wanted back, and someone that could have moments with all the characters. So I picked Kimberly. I want her to act as a bridge between the two teams. One of her best traits was to deal with personal lies and infighting. For the last pick, I went with RJ. Since he has mentored a team, he could help out in that area. I also wanted to do something with RJ and Chip. I see them working really well together. The PR side wasn't too hard to figure out. I did go through a few other options. I had early on picked Zoe, but I didn't want duplicate colors on the same team. Now, the Sentai side was more harder. I've seen nearly every season, but I'm not familiar with the majority of the 70s and 80s teams to pick one. So I stuck to characters from Zyuranger up. I also wanted to pick characters that were different in personality to the PR team. For the plot, Trip will need help with his tech, so the best person to get is Sion from Tai Ranger along with Taku. Trip and Sion I think would be a cool choice since they're very similar but small enough to not be overshadowing the other characters, and I'd like to see how Circuit and Taku would get along. I went with a big choice, Captain Marvelous, not just because he's popular, he's from space, dealt with big threats, and with his abilities can use other Rangers not available. For the other picks who would be very useful, the situation will get really bad and I needed one person linked with the villain, so I chose Matsuri. She could handle any medical problems and could call the Lifebird, giving her team a weapon finisher, plus a ton of other weapons. Like Chip, I wanted someone on the Sentai side and someone who I think would work good with Kimberly. That landed me on Nanami. The Hurricanegers have a lot of ninja abilities. She gives access to the Shinobi Metal system, and she likes singing. I said before, I didn't want to put someone from the 70s or 80s seasons, but I still wanted to bring in someone who's from a season that PR never used. So I ended up picking Akira. He's a former villain, his color is unique, doesn't have the issues of being a kid like the other Tokyugers, and I definitely would make a special fight scene between him and the villain. As for the last choice, it was a no-brainer. I needed someone who knew English where you could have him initially help out translating. There was a couple of characters I could pick from, but I went with Jiraiya. Since he was raised in the US, we get 2 ninja characters that can team up, and we know he still has access to his powers. Okay, that sets up our casts. Who is the villain? Since PR already has done a dimensional bad guy, I wanted the Sentai side to be where the baddie comes from. But what season could I use? There's many examples of dimensions done before. Aba Ranger's Dino World, Go Wander's Car and Pollution World, but I wanted something more limited since it's going to be a planet-wide event. And we always ask, why don't all the Power Rangers or Super Sentais get used at once? I decided to go with the story that continues off from Go-Go 5. If you remember in the series, an event called the Grand Cross happens when Earth and the other planets line up. This is how Grandine came back. Let's use that, but there shouldn't be any more of the Saima clan members alive. There's one loophole. We get introduced to Mazilisk, the father of the Saima clan, sealed away as a backup. His goal? Use the next Grand Cross to destroy Earth. Our anchor character on the Sentai side is Matsuri. We do get to see the whole Go-Go 5 team return, with a new Liner Boy and Bay Area 55. And since the passing of Mondo Tatsumi, the team rotates who stays behind to operate Bay 55. These events are playing out simultaneously while Trip is in his time. We get reacquainted with Trip, the future, and see what he's been up to. While he's still a part of the Time Force Police, he's also become an instructor. The original Time Force suits have been retired since the development of new Ranger powers, but the original Time Force suits remain with Trip and the others as their personal suits. With the new generation of Time Force Police, we get to see him working and teaching alongside two of the new Time Force Rangers. Transitioning back to Sentai Earth, as the Grand Cross is about to happen, the guys fire Liner Boy 2's new solar attack, which intercepts the Grand Cross's negative energy. It explodes. Liner Boy 2 is caught in the blast, sending it tumbling down to Earth. Matsuri loses contact with Liner Boy 2. While the solar attack stopped the destruction of Earth, the negative energy was still released everywhere. Fractures, similar to what we saw in Dimensions in Danger, open and close all over the place, releasing demons and monsters. Back in the year 3025, after Trip and his trainees arrest some bad guys, dozens of buildings start to vanish around him. What's going on? Trip's trainees ask. I don't know. Let me call command. Trip informs headquarters about the missing buildings, puzzled by his question because there isn't buildings over there. There never was. So Trip sends a 360 video from his suit's virtual cameras. Captain, if you can't remember this, then Trip cuts himself off and rushes back to base. The new Time Force Rangers figure it out too. Something's altered history. It's a good thing we have these suits or we not even know it. Jumping back to present time, it's late at night and we see the familiar new command center from Once and Always. Inside we hear Alpha 9 talking. As the camera comes up from behind a console, we see Kimberly. I'm really sorry to bother you at this time, Alpha. My suit shut off randomly back in Paris. No need to worry, Kimberly. This is a minor issue with your suit power being used with Cat. Billy hasn't solved all the problems. Your power coin just needs a recharge. When alarms start going off. Hey, what's going on? I don't know, but there's weird readings coming from Angel Grove Park. Is it a monster? No. These readings on the scanner don't make sense. I'll contact Billy. Kimberly, not wanting to stand around doing nothing, decides to go and see what's up. At the same time, we get glimpses of the other Rangers seeing this rip in space-time. Andros, Chip, and the others head to investigate. When Kimberly teleports in, the teleporter effect acts strange. It has problems completing the process. Kim attempts to contact Alpha, but her communicator doesn't work. Then demons start coming out of the tear. She tries to morph, but it doesn't work. This happens to all of the Rangers. Back in 3025, Trip goes to Circuit to figure out what happened. He slowly scans through the articles on the history of the areas that disappeared. They all converge to a point somewhere in the 2020s. So Trip scans the area, eventually picking up a strange anomaly. So he heads out with his time flyer. Now, after 20 years, the flyers were upgraded so that the Rangers can use them to travel back and forth without the need of the time ship. The new Rangers remain there just in case if anything bad happens, but Trip has no time to contact Jen or the others for help. As he goes through the time tunnel, his flyer doesn't get a chance to reach 2025. It gets thrown off by a dimensional tear, causing him to black out. He eventually wakes up in front of a familiar face. Commander Mitchell? Good, I made it back to... But before Trip can finish, Circuit cuts him off. I don't think that's Dana Mitchell. Sion, hang on. Pink's visor comes up. Everyone's confused. What's going on? Did Mitchell get replaced? Trip powers down. Who are you? Circuit easily translates Go Pink. What happened to Sion? Sion? What's that? Trip looks around, noticing it is in California. We switch to Andros fighting off all kinds of demons when ToQ6 blasts all of them off him. Hey, thanks! I didn't know there was a new Ranger. As the movie progresses, each of the PR characters slowly figure out they left their Earth and ended up someplace else. Chip meets Captain Marvelous, RJ, Hurricane Blue, Kimberly, Ninja Black, with Chase not being helped out, so he's the first to try his communications, which the other Rangers pick up. He tells them his location and they should meet up. All of them are confused in how they ended up in Japan, but Trip tells them they have a bigger problem than that. Eventually meeting up where Chase is with the help from Jiraiya and Circuit, everyone starts understanding where they are. Circuit explains in technical jargon, while RJ explains in plain English. So another Earth where Ranger powers originated in Japan? Chip cuts him off, all excited, but then Chase asks the obvious question. Yeah, and how are we going to get back? All these portals closed up. Circuit tells them, it's no problem. Trip's time flyer will be able to open up dimensional portals, but Trip points out that the flyer was badly damaged when they crash landed. How are they going to repair it? Along with the rest of the Go-Go 5 team missing, plus Mazalisk is attacking the city, Kimberly speaks up. Well, for the time being, we're stuck here. We should help out where we can. But can we? Andros asks. I wasn't able to morph before. Circuit scans all the Rangers' morphers. They all seem functional, and Trip arrived here with his suit active. So Chip pulls out his morpher. Let me test mine. His morpher glows, and his Legend Mode suit powers up. Nanami recognizes the suit. You're Maji Yellow. Where I'm from, I'm called Yellow Legend Ranger. With his suit working and everyone talking about who they are, they need to figure out what to do next. Captain Marvelous calls his ship, so they have a place to eat and get more information on this other Earth. Trip's time flyer restored in Gokai Galleon. Navi tells everyone that Gokai Silver and many of the other Rangers are dealing with the demons all over Japan. Marvelous goes to the cockpit, contacting the Time Rangers, where Sion responds. He needs to repair Trip's time flare, so Marvelous calls Goju Drill to get Sion to the present. Circuit modifies their morphers and communicators so they have a built-in translation system. Navi, Andros, and Matsuri are trying to figure out where Liner Boy 2 went. Trip and Sion work on the time flyer. Circuit and Taku are with the others, trying to figure out what to do about Mazalisk. My ideas for moments with the characters: Kim and Nanami sing to break the tension. RJ and Jiraiya talk about some of their Ranger days. Chip annoys Akira and Chase, and at some point, Taku and Circuit gives out a crash course of Power Rangers and Super Sentai information. For the battle, it would be broken into 3 sections. Demon fights, Mazalisk, and then Zord fight. Key moments in the demon battle: everyone's powers are reintroduced, Andros and Chase team up, Marvelous asks Matsuri for weapon swaps, and the demon fight ends when Andros uses his battleizer. Key moments during the Mazalisk fight: battleizer is damaged, so Andros switches over to his Spiral Saber combo, Matsuri uses the Lifebird Calamity Breaker, Trip uses the Electro Booster, RJ and Jiraiya team up, Chip uses his Magi Staff in all the configurations, Marvelous switches to Pass Rangers, giving Nanami a chance to use the triple gadget with him and Tokyo 6. Tokyo 6 will have a one-on-one fight with Mazalisk, bringing up his past as a villain. And for Kimberly, Marvelous changes into Dragon Ranger, allowing her to become Armored Pink Ranger. Because of the cross-dimension powers, Kim's Morpher will have the Power Rangers text on the top and the Ju Ranger text on the bottom. She uses Burai's Jusoken as an arrow in her bow. After Mazalisk is blown up and grows giant, with the Zord mecha fight, Chip will be in his Zord form. With the help of Marvelous, RJ will be able to use his Zord combo with Gekitoja. Nanami will operate Tempujin alone. Andros, Trip, Sion, Matsuri, and Chase will operate Victory Robo. Ninja Black will use Battle Gammer. Tokyo 6 will use Build Dio. With Kim now in armor mode, she uses the Jusoken, summoning Dragon Caesar. Of course, there will be the dramatic last-minute save where Liner Boy 2 comes in, reuniting the Go-Go 5 team. When Mazalisk blew up, it freed Liner Boy 2 from its limbo that it got trapped in. Mazalisk is finished off with Max Victory Robo along with everyone else. Trip's flyer is finally repaired, all while everyone brings the rest of the Go-Go 5 team up to speed. I'd leave the door open for them to have the possibility in doing another movie. Everyone thanks each other and goes their separate ways. Of course, back in the PR universe, Kim and the others tell their stories. Trip returns to his time and finds the buildings have returned. History is restored. The movie has to be cool and fun for everyone. I don't want one side to be favored. I thought it'd be cool to have mmpr and Ju-Ranger combined in some fashion, plus let us see Kim with Tommy's powers, bring some of the older Sentais back that have had anniversaries. I also went with these PR seasons because some of them have been dubbed in Japan. Showcasing those seasons and arcs might get more people to check them out from both sides. Oh, Go-Go 5 ended different compared to Lightspeed Rescue? I want to check out how that season went. I think this would be a really cool thing to do. It would benefit both sides, fans would enjoy it, it would keep PR alive while there's nothing going on. It would be a way to keep the original continuity active. Almost anything could be done in a crossover like this. It could be more simple. It doesn't have to be multiple seasons. Would it be hard? Of course. There'd be a load of behind the scenes stuff done in order to pull this off. But I think it would be worth it. Now, the biggest question, was my story idea any good? Was it relying too much on backstory? I know both sides of the shows can be confusing. I wanted to help out kids and people who are unfamiliar with either one to enjoy it. But it is a tough thing to balance. But thanks for watching. If you have a suggestion or a topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment below, and I may use it next time.